Good Saturday evening, and welcome once again to BCP Live. This is the fifth day in a row that we have had an opportunity to get to visit with you at the 9 o'clock time slot. And this definitely goes back to March and April and May of 2020 when we've done that many times in a row when we were talking during the time of shutdown in Durant, not lockdown. It was not a lockdown, it was a shutdown. But it was a time to get to visit with people and just share. And that is why we're here tonight, and that's just to get to visit with people. And I have the opportunity to get to visit with one person in particular, Martin Tucker, who is running for city council in Durant. Now, don't forget that on April 4th, which is now just 3 days away, there are a number of elections throughout Bryan County. And it's not just the city of Durant alone, even a school board election in Ashley. So there's a lot on the docket. But tonight we get to visit with Martin Tucker. So, Martin, thank you so much for taking time and visiting with us tonight.
Joey, thank you. And I know you've been doing this a lot here lately, and you're going to need a day off here soon.
Well, that's what Sunday's for. So that we'll
I
definitely
agree.
take Sunday there and take some time off then. Listen, I appreciate, again, the time because it means a lot to me, and hopefully it means a lot to the folks around Bryan County as well. So if you would, tell us a little bit about who you are, how long you've been around Durant, what are you doing right now? What is the life of Martin Tucker about?
Well, the life of Martin Tucker is about my family, first of all, and our church. I'm an elder here at the Durant Church of Christ, but my family primarily, and these days it's grandchildren. We have 5 grandchildren. I'm raising one. He's 16. He lives with us. He's a Victory Life Academy student. I have 2 grandkids that go to school in Calera, and that's one of the reasons, one of the attractions that drew us to Durant, obviously a large one, and then have twin grandsons that live in Clayton, and that's where we spend all of our free time if we have very much with those guys, and I really love it. They all love to be outdoors, and they're all very active, and so that keeps us going and keeps us busy. We enjoy that as well. But what I do for a living, I'm currently a chief financial officer. I work for the Choctaw Nation. It's the third largest Native American tribe in the United States, and our headquarters is here in Durant. Prior to that, I'd been banking. I ran a bank downtown here in Durant for a couple of years before that. I worked for the Massey family for a couple of years in Seminole before that. And in my hometown, I worked for the Burridge family for 17 years. My wife and I lived in a house that was 6 blocks away from the hospital that we were born in. So we thought we weren't going to leave there, but prayed hard, tried to listen. God told us it was time to go, and Durant seemed like the place to be. I'm sure that was correct, and I've enjoyed every moment of living here.
Durant is a very good place to be, and I appreciate being in Bryan County. And I definitely understand about the grandkids and what that means. Mine were over today too, and that'll keep you busy. As a matter of fact, I think I'm a little bit more red right now
Yeah,
than I was on yesterday's show, just being out in the sun and playing with the grandkids too.
can't beat it. It's great
You
stuff.
really can't beat it, but it is time now. I will go ahead and give everybody the warning. It is time now for sunscreen. Did not
Yes.
do that today, so we'll work on that. Martin, then with all of that going on, and obviously there is a lot going on. What prompted you to decide? Hey, listen, I believe I could do something for the city, and I want to run for city council.
Well, when I first moved back in 2017, and as CEO of the First Texoma National Bank downtown, the bank has a seat on the industrial board, the Durant Industrial Authority, and so they asked me to serve in that role, and I did, and I served as the chairman for a short period of time, and got to work very closely with the city then. A lot going on back in 17 and 18, and we were bringing industry into town. That's right when 206 came to town, and then Steel Fab behind them, and Bruce Pack hadn't been here very long. Neither had Cardinal Glass. There was a lot going, a lot of growth in Durant. Housing was starting to really boom up and spring up in a lot of different places. And of course, in the banking industry, we're very involved in that. All the banks are helping people to build and buy a home. And watching that and participating in that, I got to see what was going on with the city, and I got to see their role in how the city grows and their responsibility and how they maintain the things for the citizens, and how they respond and how they react with the citizens. And so at the time, I didn't feel like I had time to do this work, but as time has gone on and I've gotten to where I think I have time now, I've never lost interest in that. I've always served in one capacity or another. And the guys at church, when I met with them, of course, obviously before I decided to run, they said, "Man, we're concerned for you to have the time to do this." But I've always been involved in a civic organization. I've served on chamber boards. I've served on industrial authorities. I've served on the excise board at our home county in Pushetaw County. I've served on a hospital board as the chairman for some period of time. Those are taxing deals. And so I told the guys at church, in comparison to those times, and oh, by the way, I was also in the National Guard as for part of that time as a battalion commander, and then later on as an operations officer at the state Joint Task Force level. Recently, I've kind of been loafing in comparison to those times. So I think I can do the city of Durant a good job. I really want to. I really want to see Durant continue to grow. Such a great place to be, and there's so many opportunities. There's so much good going on in the city, and I really want to play a part in helping that to continue on and maybe even to increase. And that's been my reason for wanting to serve.
I understand. Here on BCP Live, and you may be watching us live here on this Saturday night. You may be watching us on the replay. Shout out to everyone for watching. Thanks for watching these broadcasts this week as we're visiting with folks who are candidates for local office and big positions that are out there. Visiting now with Martin Tucker. I would ask you then, Mr. Tucker, what I have asked everyone else, and just that is this issues that are important to you. What stands out to you, and if you were elected, what would be areas that you feel like you try to address right off the bat?
Well, first of all, I'm a very practical person, and so I understand that governments don't turn on a dime. We can't go in and change everything and suddenly put your own plan into motion. But everyone that I've visited with, out knocking doors, I've told them all that I think the city's finances could be improved, and I think that I can help with that. I think I've got the talent and experience to help with those finances. And so with the challenges that we see in the city, and every city has challenges, let's face it. And so the one that we hear the most about are potholes, obviously the streets, but there are other challenges as well. But what needs to happen, I think, and from my perspective, is that we need to properly align our resources to what our biggest challenges are. And when I see our financial statement and when I see our budget, I'm not 100% sure that the financial resources and the budget are all pointed at what our largest challenges are. And so I think, again, that's something that I can help people understand and that I can help people learn about, and that we could make better decisions as a city. I'm not one person isn't going to change these things, but I think if we can get the city council as a group to be on the same page, as a group to be unified in what needs to be done, and in what priority, what first, second, and third, and then what resources need to be applied to those challenges as we take them on, then I think we can start to make things better quicker. But getting everyone on the same page, having collaborative relationships, building trust not only with the citizens but even within the government of Durant, those are all things that need to be done. And again, I'm a practical person and I understand all those things are going to take time, and that's something that I'm really wanting to help do. And I think once the citizens see that the city's on the same page with each other, that they're all working together collaboratively to solve problems, and that the solutions that they come up with make sense to them, that are simple solutions or at least common sense solutions, then they'll say, well, that makes sense to me, and I'm supporting that. And then once you have that positive attitude, and once you have that positive relationship, first within the city and then within the citizens, then you can see where things are going to start to happen in a really good way. And again, those are the things that I really want to work hard on, and again, seem to be very practical, but that's the way I approach things.
I understand. That makes sense. Well, you guys have been, and I say you guys, I'm talking collectively about the folks who are running for city council in Durant, and there have been, it's been more than one forum out there. And so you all have had the opportunity to get to be in front of a couple of different groups of people and in different places. But for this particular venue, then, would you take a moment and this is your opportunity to speak to the folks and say what it would mean to you to get their vote?
It would mean a lot to me. Obviously, I think that serving on city council is an important role. it's a task that I would take seriously. It's a responsibility that I would take seriously. I would work earnestly as a council person. But again, setting the budget, uh, setting the goals, and setting the work that the city needs to be done is primarily what the responsibility of the city council member is. Drawing attention to myself would be the last thing that I would want to do. I would want to draw attention to the city and to its staff, and I would want more people to want to be involved in what the city's doing, not what the council is doing, if that makes sense. What the city's doing, it needs help getting things done. And we've had some great things happen recently, picking up trash and things like that. And we need to do more of that. We have several citizen groups that are doing everything they can to help solve some of these problems for the city. And I know some of the other candidates have talked about the plans that have been made and the plans that have been built, and they seem reasonable. And there's some angst about why isn't the city acting on these plans. Again, everyone needs to have the same level of understanding about what these plans are, what our resources are, and what can be done next to begin solving these plans. And I just think that once the citizens see that type of activity happening, people on the same page, progress being made, then things just get better all over the city. Again, this won't happen immediately. I tell everyone at all the forums that we've been to, Joey, and then all the doors that I knock to, this will take time. This will take money. That's just the plain and simple fact of it. But we have to make as many steps as we can, as many consecutive steps as we can in the right direction, and not so much forward and then back and then forward and then back. We need to get on a good roll of moving forward and sustain that. And that's really what I want to help do.
All right. Well, I appreciate that, and I appreciate your time tonight, and I'm very thankful for that. I want to remind everyone, again, obviously no voting today, no voting tomorrow, but there's been some early voting that started on Thursday. Tuesday, April 4th, is the actual election day, and so that is an opportunity for everyone to get out and vote. I want to encourage everyone to get out and vote and be informed. Hopefully, you've had an opportunity to listen to a number of good folks here that have stopped by BCP Live and had an opportunity to share with you their thoughts and a little bit about themselves, like Martin Tucker has tonight. So don't forget about that. And you have the opportunity to vote for 3 different positions too.
That's right.
So that is out there as well. And regardless of what ward you live in Durant, you still get to vote for all 3 of those positions that are on the ballot. So just something to keep in mind for Tuesday. And last thing, and Martin, thank you for sticking around with me as I wrap things up here. Just the last thing is this: we will be on Tuesday night. I know we've been on just about every night of the week this week. Next week, for sure, Tuesday night at 9 o'clock, we will have election results right here on BCP Live. And by that time in the evening, we should know pretty sure what the election results will be. Of course, they'll all be unofficial. Everything's unofficial for 2 or 3 days after that, but we're happy to get those numbers to you there. In the meantime, I want to say thanks again to Martin Tucker for being on here with me on BCP Live. Thank you very much for watching this tonight, whether you're watching us live. I always say if you're watching the replay and you've stuck around to the very end, you are a trooper. So thank you very much for that. And let me remind you, as we are heading into Sunday, we're not far away. We're already in the month of April. Sunday, just a few hours away. It is Palm Sunday. Don't forget about that. We're heading into the Holy Week too. Let me remind you these 3 things. Please be wise. Be wise. Number 2, walk in love. And number 3, do not walk in fear. You do those things, and I can just almost guarantee you that things will go well for you. Life will start heading in the right direction. And by the way, if I may borrow something from Martin, it may not happen the very first day. It may take a little bit of time to get some of these things in practice. It sometimes takes a little time to practice walking in love. But yes, I encourage you to do those things. So Martin Tucker, thank you again for being with me tonight.
Thank you, Joey. Really appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
All right. God bless you to everyone else. We will see you at the latest on Tuesday night right here on BCP Live. God bless you. Have a great night. Thanks for watching.